Hey Mets fans, welcome back to the channel and thank you all so much. I cannot believe it, but we did it. We hit 2,000 plus subscribers already in just around a 10-day span after just hitting 1K. I feel like I just hit 1K, what, a week ago or something? It's only been like 10 days and we're already past 2,000. Absolutely insane. I never would have expected things to be growing as fast as they are right now. So seriously, thank you all so much, Mets fans. It means the world to me. I'm just a diehard Mets fan like you, no more, no less, and I love interacting with all you guys, and I cannot wait to see what is in store here on the channel. And also, you guys can check it out right here. Yes, I finally got the Francisco Lindor jersey that I ordered, that a lot of you guys knew about, that I talked about in the streams in the past, but it's here and it was so fitting. I actually got it yesterday. It came in the mail. Perfect timing because the Mets avoid arbitration with Lindor and signed him to an over $20 million deal, and who knows when that extension is going to come in for a long term, but it should probably come before the season starts. I'm just so pumped for the Mets. I'm sure you guys are too, but let's get right into today's video because we're going to be taking a look at the Mets and basically what their offseason outlook is now, and basically how the Yankees have helped them with the signings that they have done over the past 24 hours. I know you might be wondering, Tyler, how does that make any sense? That's what I'm going to be breaking down today's video, so make sure you stay all the way until the end to hear all the deets and all my thoughts on the Yanks, their signings, the ones we know about, how it affects the Mets, and how it really can help the Mets with their negotiations with other players going forward. If you guys end up enjoying this kind of Mets content and want to see more great Mets content like this, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, share this video with your friends, put on the notification bell, all those great things. We are just getting started here on NYM, and I would love for you to be a part of it if you aren't already. But thank you all so much for the countless support, guys. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. Alright guys, this really shouldn't come as much of a surprise, but the Yankees managed to keep LeMahieu because LeMahieu, as I stated more often than not, wanted to stay in the Bronx with the Yanks. The only way that would fall through is if the Yankees, for whatever reason, couldn't get a deal done and then LeMahieu would go elsewhere. But no, he stays with the Yanks on a really solid deal here. As you can see, only 6 years and $90 million for LeMahieu. So he's only making 15 mil around per year, which is really undervaluing him if you ask me. LeMahieu easily could have gone more than 100 mil, probably on the open market. I know that there were offers out there that really were pushing more so 20 mil per year, with the Blue Jays offering a deal to him. I believe it was around, what, 4 years, 78 million or so. But regardless, really solid deal for the Yankees, as we see. And they also land, yes, Corey Kluber, one of the pitchers that the Mets shown interest in, or at least that they were at his outing when he did his pitching for all the 25 teams that attended, and he signs a one-year deal right around $11 million for the Yanks. So just like that, the Yankees are back in the market making moves and trying to address this team to have consistent playoff pushes going forward, to have really World Series aspirations. But how does this affect the Mets in a positive way? Well, there's a couple reasons, but the most notably is basically this LeMahieu contract, because yes, I know he basically took a discount to an extent. I think we can all agree with the Yankees because he wanted to stay with the Bronx, so rightfully so. If that's something that he does, kudos to him. He's definitely a team player. I have nothing but respect for LeMahieu, even myself as a Mets fan. But when you come to his deal here at 6 years, 90 mil, it very well can have a certain effect on the market with the bigger names out there, and the name that the Mets have been connected to so much, and George Springer, as we know. And Springer, there's been reports that he's looking for upwards of 175 million per Andy Martino. Take that with a grain of salt, right? There's been reports that really the Mets don't want to go past 4 years and making an offer. That 4-year deal, the offer was apparently anywhere between 125 to 150 million, and that Springer was looking for upwards of a 6-year deal. So in my mind, they will probably meet around the middle, around a 4 or 5 year deal. 5-year deal I think makes most sense for them, but this really helps the Mets' chances with getting Springer. I've always thought that they were the front runners for Springer, and I still hold true to that, trust me. But now the Mets are in a better spot here because this LeMahieu contract can very well affect the likes of Springer to an extent, because when you look at them as players, yes, Springer brings a bigger need to the Mets with at that center field. When it comes to LeMahieu's the better hitter. He's been the more consistent hitter in his career, and he goes for a contract of that cheap. And I know there's still a hometown discount there, but should have somewhat of an effect on how the other free agents, including JT Realmuto, has reportedly been offered a 5-year, $100 million deal or so by the Phillies. We'll see if he takes that or not to stay with them. But I think with Springer, this only helps the Mets' chances with landing a guy like him, and very well could lower his cost, especially with this unprecedented market. And the Mets are really the only realistic team out there outside the Blue Jays giving an offer, and the Blue Jays, from the report, have really lowballed an offer for him for what he's looking for. If it's just a one team direction for George Springer, then odds are the Mets are going to be able to land him on a deal that's going to feel best for both sides for the most part, even if he takes a little bit less than what he was originally looking for. And then you get on a Corey Kluber. He's another interesting factor here because, as we know, we talked about it here on the channel previously, that the Mets were one of the teams in attendance for his pitching session, and he had strong fastball. He's between 88 and 89 on his fastball. When in his prime of his career, he was chopping out right around 92. He's known for his command and some great off-speed stuff as well. So Kluber now lands with the Yanks on a 1-year deal, a solid low-risk, high-reward situation, even though you're you're probably banking on a lot for him when you look at the Yankees' current rotation. They probably want to add more of that. But the Mets, now that Kluber is out of the way, that could be very telling that maybe the Mets do in fact land another starter. I really hope they do. I think it would be best for them to do that either through the trade market or free agency. When you think free agency, maybe Jake Odorizzi is still in the mix, but you'd have to think that Trevor Bauer is still very much a possibility. The Mets have just under $30 million that they are currently working with until they get to the $210 million luxury tax threshold. So you have to wonder, are the Mets really going to push that threshold this first year in, or are they possibly going to move some contracts to make that happen? And could they very well get a strong starter like, I don't know, a Luis Castillo, for example, among some other trade options in order to get a guy that still has team control among some other things to really help solidify that rotation as one of the best in baseball? I think that's very well a strong possibility too. And with all the moves that the Mets have been doing, especially that Lindor move, that went under the rug, overlooked by everyone. It picked up steam that Monday, and then a couple days later, bam, the trade actually happened. So if you ask me, I think the Mets are definitely going to be making a big splashes still this offseason. I think George Springer is still almost a lock. If you see a report earlier today by SNY, which really doesn't change much, but saying how George Springer reportedly wants to stay closer to home from his native state in Connecticut. And then you have right here, Steve Cohen replies to it too, basically saying, you know, like, I'm not really sure what to take of this. That very well could be telling that Steve Cohen knows that a deal isn't locked and just not official yet, because he has talked about stuff in the past. He even did that with Gio from Boomer and Gio when he was doing his hunger strike until the Mets made a free agency splash, and they DM'd him and basically said that it was going to happen. He just didn't say who it was or what is exactly a type of splash, because it was a trade, not through free agency. Cohen is awesome. I love the man, Uncle Stevie himself, but this is really telling that the Mets, in my mind, very well are going to land George Springer. They may very well get him at a cheaper deal than what was originally expected. Brad Hand seems like a lock. It just seems inevitable at this point, just a ticking time bomb still. Granted, nothing's official. I very well could be wrong, but from what the reports are indicating, the Mets are still heavily involved with Brad Hand. They're heavily involved with George Springer, it would seem, and they may very well still be trying to address either the third base to an extent, because everything going on with JD Davis being the lone guy to go to arbitration now. Out of all the Mets guys that avoided arbitration, there were 13. I'm pretty sure he was the one out of the entire roster yesterday that is going to arbitration, and they're not even a mil off. I think they're just around 300,000 to 400,000. So we'll see what happens with Davis, but the Mets have a lot of decisions coming up, and I think we're going to find out fairly soon from all these reports. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. I want to know how you're feeling about everything going on with the Yankees right now and how it affects the Mets. Do you think it's a positive? Do you think it's a negative? I really think it's a positive. Not that I want to see the Yankees do well per se as a Mets fan, but the direction that they're going down, the signs that they made, it takes Kluber off the list for the Mets. I really hope the Mets do not land a guy like James Paxton, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not the kind of depth piece I'm looking for. If you want to really round out that rotation, it'd be best to either, if you can at the right price, still land a Trevor Bauer, Jake Odorizzi, even though I think he's out of the picture at this point, at least what reports have indicated over the past week or two, and then also trade options. They very well could be another realistic possibility for the Mets to land another strong starter that has team control and is on a short AAV in regards to $4 million for 3 to 4 years, like Luis Castillo, just as an example. But I want to know your thoughts in the comments below, as always, guys, and thank you all so much for chiming in this video. If you did in fact enjoy it, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, share this video with your friends, put on the notification bell, all those great things. Again, we are just getting started here on Wardy NYM, and I want you to be a part of it. We have been having so much fun, and I've been enjoying every single second of covering my favorite team in the New York Mets, and it's been amazing, unbelievably humbling to see the kind of responses, comments, and all the positivity I've been getting from all you lovely Mets fans. So seriously, thank you all so much, guys. Help us get 3,000 subscribers. At this rate, I'm sure we'll get there fairly soon, because of just how much this thing is soaring, and it's a very great feeling, to say the least. But thank you all again, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.